Hello, Flago Fargo here in the laundry room of this nice holiday I'm having up in Scotland. And I thought, just to keep myself occupied, as it being 6 o'clock in the morning and I couldn't get to sleep, I thought, why not do an album review? And today I'm going to be doing an album review of the Kinks' 7th album, Arthur. Now I'm probably going to do this quite quick, as I'm probably going to have a nice dreamy nighty snoozy snooze as soon as I'm finished with this. So let's get on with this review, shall we? The whole album is called Arthur, or The Decline and Fall of the British Empire. It was released on the 10th of October 1969 and it wasn't very successful. Now the main reason this is because of the band's very unlucky times of releasing these albums. Last time with the Village Green, the band postponed the album, leaving people agitated and not getting the album. And when they did release it, they had to release it on the same day the White Album came out. So it's kind of, you know, what did you get? I would have got the White Album myself too, but this time I had to postpone it again to do, as Ray Davies being the perfectionist, making more little tweaks and cleaning it up. And when they release it again, it just so happens that The Who's Tommy came out. Now, think of it this way: Tommy, Arthur, both have a name of a person, both a concept album, both like a rock opera. People will get the same intuitions of thinking that it's a copycat. The concept was basically Ray and Dave Davies' brother-in-law, who was also called Arthur, but this is loosely based on things that actually happened to this guy, but was mostly fictional. But it still covers slightly the main aspects of what happened in his life, or what they thought of this guy. But the good thing about this concept album is that it isn't too intense of a concept album. What I mean here, like Village Green, it's not going to be as intense. You can pick a track and enjoy it, and although you're going to enjoy it more if you listen to the whole thing, it's still very enjoyable to listen to one different song and not like The Wall, where you can't really pick out Stop and just enjoy that. And yeah, I think it's a really good concept album. Ray Davies making, of course, loads of concept albums like Village Green, The Two Preservation Acts, Soap Opera, Schoolboys in Disgrace, Misfits, Phobia. But I haven't really listened to them, I'm being honest. 4 minutes in, goodness me, I haven't even got onto the bloody thing. Okay, so let's start with the first track. Now, what we have here is Victoria. This was the best charting, making it at number 62. Still isn't that good, to be honest, but oh well, they get popular in the next album with Lola, so all's well at the end. Shut up. And Victoria just shows the thing that the Kinks can do in their later period, and that is overlay it with many guitars and making it as best as possible. It's not as bad, you know, Arthur having months of time into this and not a week with the Kinks controversy, or 3 days with Kinda Kinks. So obviously we're getting to see months of training here, and here with Victoria there's many guitar overlays, many horns are added, and it is very good. I remember when I first was introduced by my sister's boyfriend, getting me the best of the Kinks, and to be honest I didn't really get it. It was one of my least favourite tracks on this best of, obviously because getting a concept song and then plonking it in with all these other songs doesn't really work. But the thing that really made me not like it so much was the vocals that was being delivered. I thought it was some other band, or like Mick Avery or someone else, and these vocals. but it turns out it's just Radio Davies, and there's a voice that he gives for Arthur. You get to see him as the narrator singing in his normal voice and having Arthur in this very deep kind of crony kind of voice. Arthur is sung throughout the whole thing on here, and we'll only have Ray Davies and Dave Davies and such as backing vocals. Victoria is an aspect of the song that happens with many songs here, and that's representing Arthur as being this person who has a one-faced mind, as a person who just thinks that everything is fine with the 2 world wars, which is where these are based. With, you know, the classic kind of thing where the government was sugarcoating everything that was happening at the Battle of Dunkirk or at the beaches, you know. This is showing his love for Victoria, obviously. What you'll also get here with the album is many different changes in tempo, and this happens with it. Plenty of good horns, and adds a vintage kind of feel to it. Any kind of bad things about it? The chorus, I do wish it would have had a bit more added to the chorus. You know, it'd be nice if you had more lyrics instead of just Victoria, 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 Victoria. I wish they, you know, had it a bit more. And it's too repeated a bit too many times, just a bit. I think they said it once more than what I'd liked it, but still an 8.8 out of 10 song. Yessir, No Sir is the track pick for me. It starts off with this great drumming like World War I, which is where this is based. It comes from the mind of a classic soldier in the trenches and following orders from a general, and well, that's why it's called Yessir, No Sir. Very sarcastic and pretty grim, but quite funny in a sort of darkish kind of tone. Like Yessir, No Sir, permission to breathe, sir. Obviously you don't need permission to breathe. Has very nice acoustic guitar and very punchy kind of bass, and you know, it's like I say, although the tempo changes and goes into different parts, this is one of the best parts. How it jumps into Ray Davies using his normal voice, so it doesn't matter who you are, you're there, now you are. Extremely catchy, one of the catchiest things I've ever heard. It's almost up there with Uncle Albert. It's very filled out, and it's nice how it changes in the different singers. Well, it's not really different singers, but you know, it makes fun of the whole thing and captures World War I in sort of way. The only thing I can try and think of as a downside is that when it goes back to Arthur saying let them feel that they're important to the cause, it's quite hard to understand what he's saying there, but that's the only drawback. It's a 9.7 out of 10 song, it's really good. The third song is Some Mother's Son, again about World War I, and overall about the deaths of soldiers. The guitar's a highlight, and you can count this as one of 2, I would say, ballads. Pretty slow moving and very sad, which isn't really expected from the Kinks. Everyone just thinks of, you know, very happy songs like Autumn Almanac or You Really Got Me, which is a shame, but having this, you know, one-faced kind of mind to the Kinks, which it doesn't deserve. Some of the song has extremely it's pretty emotional, I can't say. It's not extremely emotional, but the chorus and just overall the lyrics, very grim. It's just pretty disturbing in a sort of kind of way. Picking out lyrics, I don't know, it talks about how he has no head, how mothers are waiting for the sons to come back, and obviously it doesn't. It's pretty grim, very grim indeed. But it's sort of a bit cheesy with it, and especially the chorus. But that's all I can really think of it. One of the lyrics is "Some memories remain." And that reminds me of a bit of the Village Green. Do you remember Walter? and sang in the same way, but that's only tiny bit good. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. The fourth song is my least favourite, called Driving, but there's a pretty good reason for this. Driving is all about escaping from the war and kind of going to the countryside and just trying to forget the whole thing about it. One thing that stops me from liking this: too much like Picture Book. I'll play the both of them at the same time, and can you really say that there's that much difference between Driving and Picture Book? It sounds neon exactly the same to me, and that is just terrible. And you know what? This was made a single from the album. Like, the people, the only people who enjoyed Village Green, do you think they'll want to hear Picture Book Part 2 or something, you know? It's just, I just can't help comparing to it. And the lyrics are just pretty naff, to be honest. Talk to the cows, laugh at the sheep. It's sort of a bit like a reprise of Village Green, I suppose, and that kind of sheep and all that, looking like a classic village. No, I'm not a fan of this, but tell you what, I'll give it a 6.8 out of 10. But if you don't own Village Green, and if I'm trying to imagine if I didn't own Village Green, I'd give it about an 8.6. That's about that for that. Brainwashed is the next one. Again, classic Kinks, i.e. extremely catchy. Great guitar and vocals, it's a great sing-along song, pretty hard kind of song, and it reminds me of American rock kind of thing. Great trumpets and guitars, how they're like in sync with the vocals. It's nice and short, it's about 2 minutes long, but it's snappy, and that's what you get with it straight away. Really enjoyable for what it is, 9 out of 10 song. Australia. This is known as the Kinks, as they've ever gotten close to a psychedelic freakout. This is again a thing that happened with Arthur, him moving to Australia. This song is, I'm not sure, I haven't really looked at like the 20 odd albums that the Kinks have made, but I know at least so far this is the longest song they made, and it's clocking at nearly 7 minutes. And for someone who you're expecting a short, snappy, just enjoy what you get as a band, this is very long. It's all about I'll enjoy in Australia. Very Beach Boys influenced, especially with the backing vocals, and overall, I like it. It's Ray Davies once described it, I believe, as imagining that you're travelling to Australia. He purposely made it long and made them these slow guitars, because they sing for about the first 2 minutes, and the rest is just this massive guitar kind of freak out, like I say. So I'd give it for what it is, probably about an 8.5 out of 10. ShangriLa is the next song, and great as a track pick. It's about Arthur now retired, and ShangriLa means, you know, find your own sort of self-paradise. Starts off pretty acoustic driven for about the first minute and a half, and some people like me foolishly switched it off and skipped to the next track because I thought it was a bit boring, but I knuckled down, listened to it, and I got a big surprise. It suddenly turned into this very bliss. It suddenly kicks in and it's pretty epic. It has very nice bass, interesting, bittersweet lyrics, and is just a great thing to listen to, and I give it about 9.2 out of 10. This review is going to be very long. Mr. Churchill Said is the next song, and now moves on to World War II. Obviously Mr. Churchill, Winston, is from World War II. Again, from the view of a short-minded soldier who's battling, and you know, Mr. Churchill said we have to fight the bloody battle to the very end. Pretty slow song and nothing really stands out. It's pretty casual in a way, but it keeps the flow going in a sort of kind of sense, and pretty catchy and a pleasant thing to listen to. I give it about an 8.4 out of 10. The next song is called She Bought a Hat Like Princess Marina, and this is a highlight for Ray's attempt with the keyboards, which is a highlight. Again, quite casual, and with many of the songs suddenly turns into a different sort of pace. This goes very vintage 40s kind of thing, which suits it, World War II from the 40s, and is equipped with a nice little kazoo that plays in the left ear channel. It speeds up and is a highlight with Mick Avery's drumming, very drummer boy kind of thing. And overall, I sort of feel like it would work in a Disney's movie. Don't know why, it's a sort of upbeat and tempo and jaunty, it just suits it, I can imagine it. And I give it about an 8.7 out of 10. The next track is called Young and Innocent Days. Here it is there, Young and Innocent Days. That would fool many people like me, thinking that one track is called Young and Innocent and the next is the classic Kinks song Days. That's annoying. Why can't they just... I mean, there's plenty of space there, why don't they just push it and then just add it? Ugh. Well, I would probably prefer Days being on, but Young and Innocent Days is still a good song. It obviously talks about Arthur's thoughts about the better times when he was younger. It's a nice acoustic kind of driven song, and is the second song I'd call a ballad. It's pleasant enough to listen to, but nothing really standing out for me here. But it's still about an 8.3 out of 10. The next song is called Nothing to Say, and I've got nothing to say about this, Neil. It looks at Arthur older, and he's talking to his father about how he's growing out of his timid sort of nature. It's a nice little filler kind of thing, filler, and it's a good near summary because it's a second last track. It was sung well and pretty catchy, and the electric guitar is a good highlight, but it's an 8.1 out of 10. The next song is simply called Arthur, and it's the main summary all about Arthur, many lyrics going through it like a sort of summary. And shut up. Why is it everything that's bothering me? First it's the birds, then the traffic, now this bloody thing, whatever that is. It influences quite a lot of the country kind of thing. It's got a bass, drumming and vocals that sound very folk and country sort of thing. Nice singing sort of thing. It's a nice closing and a nice way to end. Nice. And it's an 8.4 out of 10. So then, this is my conclusion of Arthur. Adding up the scores of every song and averaging out makes an 8.6 out of 10. But let's all be honest, it's a concept album. You very rarely find songs that are more enjoyable separately and not listening to the whole thing if it's a concept album. And this is the same thing about with Arthur. It boosts up to about an 8.9 out of 10 if you listen to the whole thing. Highlights include Victoria, Yessir, No Sir, ShangriLa and Brainwashed, and the not so as Driving and Nothing to Say. It shows the band that they aren't just a singles band and prove very well making these chord side of things. And if you own Village Green and looking for more stuff, then I definitely recommend this. If this will be your first album, I don't really recommend that you start here. I'd rather work with Face to Face or something else. But still, you know, no stopping trying to get this. And that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day or whatever, and see you later. Bye bye.